I'm your host, Mark Aaron, and welcome to In Focus by U Multicultural, where we focus on civic issues here in Winnipeg. And in today's episode, we'll be talking to the Dream Factory on how they make kids and their families' dreams come true. With me right now is the Executive Director of the Dream Factory, Howard Cox. Howard, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Mark.
No worries. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm the executive director of the Dream Factory. The Dream Factory, for those of your listeners who don't know, we're a Winnipeg-based, Manitoba-based charity. We serve all of Manitoba. We've been around 30 years, and we help sick kids and make their dreams come true. I've been executive director now with the organization around 5, 6 years. I've worked in the nonprofit sector in the community for many years now, helping a number of organizations. Before the Dream Factory, I was the Parkinson Society Manitoba executive director for 8 years before I joined the Dream Factory as well.
And you mentioned that you're the Executive Director of the Dream Factory. Can you give us a brief description on what the Dream Factory is?
Sure. As I mentioned before, we're about 30 years old. We're Manitoba based. We help Manitoba kids. We deal with some very difficult situations. We deal with kids who have life threatening illnesses. So, what we're trying to do is bring a little hope, some happiness to them, and both them and their family and their extended family as they go through one of the most difficult things a family can face. So we do what we really do is try to bring hope and happiness. What we do in terms of our actual activities is their dreams can be whatever they want it to be, as long as it's something we can deliver. So now during the pandemic, it's been a bit limited in some of these things, but we help them meet their heroes. It could be a musician. You know, we had a kid meet Billie Eilish a couple of years ago. We have kids have a day with the Jets so they can be a jet hero for a day. We send a ton of kids still down to Disney because it's the happiest place in the world, and it truly is. And so that's where we send a lot of, and not just the little ones, sometimes the older kids, because there's just so much of Disney and Universal that attracts all ages. So even the older teenagers. So we do those kind of things. But more than anything, it's got to be the kid's dream. And of course, approved by the parents. And the travel is always approved by the doctor, that kind of a thing. But more than anything, it's just to give them some happiness, something to look forward to, something to look back on, and just something bright during a very dark period.
And especially like during this time, like with COVID-19, what were the struggles that you guys faced? Because like even though you want to help these kids, you still have to follow the restrictions that the government gives you, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and because we're dealing with sick kids, our standards of protocols are often, even a step higher than the government because the government restrictions we follow to a T, and then we might even have our own internal ones that are even stricter because we're dealing with sick kids. So we got to be extra careful with the virus around for sure. The biggest impact it had on us, well, there's two sides of it. It hit us pretty hard. There's no two ways about it, but we're adjusting and we're working our way through. What I always say is our kids are battling life-threatening illnesses. The least we can do is battle through with them. And so I always say we're being led by our kids as we work through this process. But the two ways we've really been hit is number one is we can't do travel dreams. Typically about 70% of our dreams are travel. So we're having those sort of backlogged right now with the plan that we'll have to catch up once travel begins again. We've changed a fair amount of dreams, and some kids, and it depends on each kid and their dream,
Mhm.
if they don't want to wait for their trip. Some are doing more local things. So we're doing more things now like above ground pools. We're doing things like camper trailers and things like that. So we're trying to expand what we can offer locally uh, and that kind of thing. The other way we've been hit by the restrictions is on the financial side. We're an organization that does like a couple major special events. We do a annual auction, which it grosses between $600,000 and $700,000, so it's significant. And we're running at about 20% on that, trying to run it virtually, and we're adjusting, and we're doing okay. The other thing too is we do a golf tournament each year that raises over 100,000. And last year we were able just to sneak it in with about 40 people between waves of the restrictions. And so we made about 40,000. We're hoping in September the restrictions ease and we can, at least do 40 and more this year. So, just like everybody, we're just dealing with it, trying to work around, find solutions. deal with the restrictions, and more than anything, keep the organization positive, because we need to be positive, and we have to be positive role models and positive attitudes for these dream kids and families we're dealing with. So we never lose sight of why we exist and what our purpose is, and that's to make dreams come true. So all these other things, they get in our way and we have to deal with them like
Mhm.
everybody else, but we never lose sight of why we're doing it. So we're pretty motivated to keep moving forward.
And let's say COVID-19, like even though like years like COVID-19 hit you guys pretty hard because you can't do like future events, do you have any future events you're planning in the near future?
Yeah, we sure do. They're all kind of, we don't know what they're going to roll out, even though some of them are only 6 months away because of the restrictions. So we have
Yeah.
to get closer to see. But one thing we're going to be doing in April, which is very exciting, is we're doing, for the first ever, we're calling it a dream drive. And we're trying to raise over $75,000 so we can make 5 dreams come true. We're going to be launching that on April 1st, and there's sponsorships, opportunities for people to donate. As well, we're going to have a wind-up celebration dinner that people can participate in, and have a dinner for 4 delivered to their house and be part of a Zoom celebration. So that's the next one coming up. And like I said, we're launching April 1st. But if anyone is listening and they're interested, just call the Dream Factory. You can ask for Howard or just talk to anyone in the office. We're a small team. If you're interested in helping out at all, or you could go to our website after April 1st when the Dream Drive information will be put up. We're easy to get a hold of. I'm Howard at thedreamfactory.ca if anyone even just wants to email me. So that's the next one. And then most of the other events, we back end, so to speak, to the fall, hoping that some of the restrictions will loosen. We're not banking on anything, so we're sort of having virtual backups. But our golf tournament's on September 10th. And Josh Morrissey, the Jets, is our ambassador, and he hosts the golf tournament. So we're hoping that all works out, that we can have a full field. And then on November the 10th, the day before Remembrance Day, we're going to do our auction. It's called the Dreammaker Auction. And at this point, really, we don't know if there's going to be possibly a few people in attendance. We're hoping.
Mhm.
We're not sure. It might be 100% virtual still this year. So we're working out those details, and we have to bide our time a little bit and see what the restrictions are.
And before I let you go, do you have any final words of advice for Winnipeg or like, even the world to just say to help you guys out during these difficult times?
Well, I think is hang in there. I think we're all dealing with this in different ways. I deal with a lot of companies and individuals, and
Mhm.
some people have hit harder than others. Some companies actually, and they don't go around talking about it because it's not really a Manitoba thing to do, to go around bragging, well, I'm doing really good while everyone's struggling.
Yeah.
But there are some people doing okay, and it's going to come around. It's starting to come around. I think, with the vaccination, there's some cracks of light coming through right now. So the same thing, our dream kids are so resilient and so amazing. I think we can learn from them that just stick to it. Just stick to it. Don't forget to smile. Don't forget to have some fun, and take some time, and take time for family and friends, and support each other. So I think there's a sense of community around our organization, and perhaps there's a broader one that we sometimes forget about. That just support each other's. Help
Mhm.
if you can help someone even just a little bit get through their day, or one more day of the pandemic. Well, why not? So that's kind of our philosophy. We're taking it day by day, and we're going to work our way out of this.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Howard.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, that's it for today's episode of In Focus by U Multicultural. I'm your host, Mark Aaron. A special thank you to the Dream Factory for the time. Hope you stay safe and have a nice day.